You have tried. You have visualized scenes late at night. You have repeated affirmations until the words felt empty. You have written scripts, practiced gratitude, monitored your thoughts, corrected your emotions. And instead of feeling closer, you feel tired, heavy, quietly discouraged. If that is where you are, listen carefully. There is nothing wrong with you. Nothing wrong with your faith. Nothing missing in your consciousness. What is working against you is not your doubt. It is your effort. Trying too hard is the most overlooked affirmation of all. Because every time you try, you are silently saying, I am not there yet. I do not have. I must push reality to respond. The subconscious does not listen to your words. It listens to your state. And effort is not a state of possession. It is a state of lack. There is a point where desire stops being alive and becomes a struggle inside the body. When someone forces themselves to believe, forces themselves to feel confident, forces themselves to hold a scene or repeat phrases, they are not impressing the subconscious. They are announcing that the state is unfamiliar. What is natural does not require pressure. Think of something you already have in your life. You do not rehearse it. You do not convince yourself it exists. You do not check every 5 minutes to be sure it's still there. You simply know. That quiet knowing, that unremarkable certainty, is the feeling the subconscious responds to. Effort does the opposite. Effort tightens. Effort contracts. Effort whispers urgency. And urgency is fear wearing the mask of discipline. There is a paradox most people miss. The more you try to manifest, the more you confirm the state of not having. It is like pushing on a door that was never meant to be pushed. The harder you lean, the more resistance you feel. All along, the door opens by pulling, by releasing pressure, by stepping back into ease. The body always tells the truth. When manifestation becomes force, the body reveals it immediately. Shoulders tighten, jaw clenches. Breath becomes shallow. The mind races, scanning for results. After the practice, you feel drained, as if you worked a physical job. That exhaustion is not dedication. It is resistance. True assumption does not consume energy. It restores it. A state that is genuinely accepted feels calm, ordinary, unremarkable. This is why the most powerful impressions happen not in effort, but in rest. There is a moment every day when the rational mind loosens its grip. You are not fully awake, not fully asleep. Thoughts soften. The body releases control. The imagination becomes receptive. In this state, effort cannot survive. You do not have to hold an image with strain. You do not have to generate emotion. A simple implication is enough. A brief scene. A suggestion that feels obvious. A moment that implies it is already done. And then you let go. Not because you are giving up, but because the seed does not need supervision. This is where many misunderstand persistence. Persistence is not repeating techniques with clenched teeth. Persistence is returning to a state gently whenever you notice you've left it. Force argues with the mind. Persistence repositions attention. Force says, I must make this work. Persistence says, this is already decided. There is discipline here, but it is a soft discipline. Imagine a young horse being trained. Unsteady, unfamiliar with the rider's weight. If you mount it with fear, tension, and aggression, the horse resists. It bucks. It throws you. But if you approach with calm authority, steady hands, relaxed posture, it adjusts. A new state of consciousness is the same. At first it feels unstable. When you fall back into old thinking, the mistake is not the fall. The mistake is turning the fall into identity. Soft discipline simply returns. No drama, no self-judgment, just a quiet remembering. This is who I am now. Over time, familiarity replaces effort. What once felt artificial becomes natural. This is where the idea of Sabbath takes its true meaning. Not a day, not inactivity. Sabbath is the moment the inner work ends. It is the cessation of inner struggle. The end of fixing, managing, checking, forcing. You still live your life. You still act when action is natural. But inside, you are no longer trying to make something happen. The mind stops asking when and how because it is occupied with is. Rest is not the reward for manifestation. Rest is the creative act itself. The shift is subtle but absolute. You move from doing techniques to becoming a person for whom the desire is normal. From someone working toward a result to someone living from a settled identity. At this stage, techniques fall away naturally. Not because they were wrong, but because they are no longer necessary. You don't rehearse what is already true. You express it. When identity changes, thoughts change without surveil.